Welcome back, guys, to the podcast. What the Fook You Thought? My name is Ray, and I know it's been a while, but don't worry, we got more videos coming because we are back on schedule for consistent basis. The video will be uploaded now on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and a special one on Sundays with premiere guests. Tune in to see what happens next. On today's episode of the podcast, we'll be talking about what happened if the Titanic didn't really sink. Now, I know it sounds crazy. There's evidence out there that it did sink and it's at the bottom of the ocean, and now we can't get it up. But just think about it. What if it actually didn't sink? Now, on this theory, we're going to be taking a deep dive into this article that I found on popularmechanics.com. Let's take a look. When the Titanic sank in 1912, it shocked the world. The limits of human innovation were cruelly displayed with the destruction of such a technical, remarkable ship. But conspiracy theory that has crept online in recent years, mostly on Reddit, begs the question, was it actually the Titanic that sank? We all know it sounds bonkers, but bear with us. Everyone seems to agree on one fact. A ship really did sink in the icy waters of the North Atlantic on April 15, 1912, and approximately 1,500 passengers aboard that ship died. The conspiracy theory simply suggests that Titanic wasn't actually the technical marvel the ship's parent company, the White Star Line, has promised. Rather than the White Star Line swapped ships for the voyage from Southampton to New York, and the ship billed as the top-of-the-line Titanic was actually an older ship, the Olympic. What's more, the conspiracy theory suggests, the entire crash was an insurance scam gone wrong. The British White Star Line had sniffed competition in England and across the globe. Locally, it had fierce rival with the Cunard Steamship Company Lieutenant, which in 1906-07 had sent its maiden voyage, the world's then largest passenger ship, the Lusitania and the Maritana. To compete with the Lusitania and its mate, White Star Line entered into a giant ship war. The company was no stranger to such battles, but Gunyards, Lusitania, and Maritana had outgunned White Star's so-called Big Four ships in terms of top seed. This time around, the company had some extra backing. I'm pretty sure I messed up the names, but I'll put in the video and pictures of it. In 1902, White Star had become property owned by International Mercantile Marine Company, a holding company bankrolled by farmed financiers J.P. Morgan. With Morgan's permission, White Star chairman J. Bruce Ismay began work on what to be known as Olympic classic ships. If they couldn't match Lithuanian speed, Olympic classic ships would be outclassed Cunard ships. They'd be bigger and even more luxurious. 3 ships were commissioned: the Olympic, the Titanic, and the Britannic. The Olympics was the first to be built, and as the line's namesake, it was considered a lead ship. Its maiden trip was widely heralded, and its first few voyages was unqualified success. But on just its 5th voyage, the vessel ran into serious troubles. On September 20th, 1911, while passing a military vessel, the Hawkeye, the Olympic, made an unexpected turn. Caught off guard, the 2 ships crashed. The Olympic was able to limp back to port, badly wounded. A trial will later hold the White Star Line responsible for the incident. Now, here where the conspiracy begins. I'll show you a picture of the Olympic. Everything above is generally agreed to be fact. The Olympic crash were past diverged. After the crash, conspiracy theorists claimed the Olympic was an economic disaster. The lawsuit meant repairs would not be recovered by insurance, and it was drawn no money while sitting around the docks. So the company made a switch. Its newly built second ship will take on the name the Olympic, while its damaged older ship would be repurposed to be the Titanic. Eventually, the true Olympic, now secretly operating as the Titanic, would be scuttled into an accident from which the White Star Line could collect an insurance payment, benefiting a proud new ship, all while the original ship, built as the Titanic, would have lived on. The only thing that ruined the plan was the iceberg. Other conspiracy theories claim a more nefarious reason for the sinking. J.P. Morgan was behind the switch, eager to use a nefarious ship to drown his enemies on board. Other theories point toward a number of clues. The Titanic didn't allow for a public examination before its voyage. Out of fear, it would be found out by experts as Olympics in disguise, theorists claim. And then there are portholes. A recent popular post examined pictures of the Titanic under construction and the Titanic on its first voyage, and find the second picture suspiciously changed close to the Olympic. There are a plethora of other details. For example, separate claims points towards the arguments of the Olympics lies at the bottom of the sea instead of the original Titanic. Though the theory Titanic researchers Steve Hall and Bruce Berger have published a book on the subject, Titanic or Olympic, which ship sank. They also helped to write other books of the Titanic history, including the Titanic, the ship Magnificent. The two take on the porthole argument straight on. The Olympic, they write, like the Titanic, was fit originally with the same 14 porthole arrangement on the port side of their forecast, but 2 additional portholes were later fitted. They were there in March of 1912. Historian Mark Christian has also devoted serious time to the question of why exactly the switch had been made. In 2005, he examined the insurance argument that the ship would be intentionally sunk to claim the insurance benefit, quoting Ismay that Titanic cost $7,500,000 and was insured for $5 million. I understand that this is backed up by the IMM American Vice President Philip A.S. Franklin, who confirmed that the insurance policy was $5 million. With their conspiracy, one would expect that the insurance policy would have changed to cover the entire value of the ship. Kernstead writes, as it was White Star who could only expect to recoup 2/3 of the ship's value. Closely examined, none of the Olympic/Titanic claims can hold up to the phenomenal effort that was needed for the switch. The two ships were not identical. The Titanic had a unique cafe and a large El La Carte restaurant, Kernstead wrote, and was modified based on the company's earlier experience with the Olympic. More recent, the Associated Press reports Titanic's wreckage has been recovered with the ship's unique construction identifier number CIN, the 401 being irrefutable evidence that it wasn't an ill-fated cover-up. That's not all. It is simply impossible to pass off a 1-year-old ship for a new one, Chern says, pointing to a number of small differences between the two, including steel plates that were fitted to the bed plates of Olympic engines added in 1911, and then still in the further inspections of it in the 20 and 30. When the Titanic was investigated by the British Board of Trade, no such plates were found. Now that is the end of the theory, but we also have proof and facts that it is the real Titanic that has sank and that got sunk by the iceberg. But there is also theories out here that, as I just read, there's multiple theories that people think it was an insurance fraud and all this. But what do you think? That'll be the end of the podcast. Please stay tuned. Next episode will be uploaded on Wednesday. Thank you and have a great day.